What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you another World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This is another viewer submitted one by the same person who sent me that SU8 video. I referred to him in that video as So Calm, but through some discussion I figured out you pronounce his name as Beast. It's like Beast with an S but with a Z. Apparently. Anyway, this is his friend's profile he was actually playing on. He was just helping out a friend, kind of helping his friend grind to his next tank, I suppose is the case. So his friend's profile is Tankster2, apparently. And yeah, he's in a Panzer 4 in a tier 5 match, and he is tier 5, top of his tier, so definitely in the position to be a force to be reckoned with. Now, if you'll notice, there are a few things differently. Hold on, let me just not help. I want to go to settings, and I want to go to, I should have taken care of this before I started, but you know what, it's not that big of a deal. Let me just do what I like to do. So there, as for that is going to be something I'm doing from now on, just making sure the damage indicators and stuff so I can better assess health and, you know, how much damage is done per shot, etc. As well as, if you notice in the right hand side, you'll see the map is much larger than usual. I'm going to be increasing it to maximum size for replays from now on, just so you guys can really see what's going on the rest of the map, so it's not as difficult to tell when I'm talking about different parts of the map. Now, the reason the game is paused is because when it loaded in, it was already started. So let's get this thing started for real right now. As you can tell, his frames per second still struggling to be up there. It's kind of one of those unfortunate things of not having a top-notch computer like I am so fortunate of having. Hold on, that map might be a little too large. It might be detrimental here. So maybe not maximum size, but I'm still going to try to keep it large enough. Right about there seems right. It's one of those things of balance. Anyway, right now you see him heading to the north. The enemy, and all I can say is I hope the enemy doesn't send a lot to the north, because it is only him and an M3 Lee currently that will be holding the northern flank. So good props to him for trying to cover for his team. His team's poor decision of sending the majority of their tanks one way, but at the same time, most of the time it ends horribly for you or whoever decides to try and pick up the slack. Because more often than not, you end up getting outnumbered and overrun before you can really do anything more than be an inconvenience to the enemy team, and hopefully buy your team enough time to really do what they need to do. So at the moment, it looks like the enemy team has not sent a lot to the north. So working to his benefit in this case, and the Panzer 4, a very fast mover, definitely something to be concerned about, because if it's on your side 1 minute, then it will probably be on your 6 o'clock the next. Now there is a tank destroyer to his left here, but he's ignoring that. The M3 Lee moving to engage that and cover his flank while he kills the enemy's M3 Lee. Right there, the M3 Lee getting taken out, taking shots on that Hetzer as well. Well, he was going to. Priority target is this enemy artillery, because, well, let's face it, enemy artillery is always a priority target. You can see the FPS problem there with his reticle not quite keeping up, and he's trying to hit this guy on the move with low frames per second, but it is just not happening really all that well. There we go, he used auto aim. Well, I would say that's a well-timed move. Definitely when you're playing a fast-moving tank such as a Panzer 4, auto aim can come in handy. So bouncing a shell from a Hetzer, I was not aware the Panzer 4 had the armor to do that, but I'm guessing it was just angling right there, not bouncing that shell. And he will try to get through this Hetzer. Still using AP rounds for a second on the damage. I just had to make sure that he was not switching to HE. Definitely not something I typically use other than in the most extreme of circumstances. T50, what was that, a T40 something? Definitely showing that the enemy team has not sent a lot to the north here. The M3 Lee doing pretty good for himself, but he's probably going to die to this Matilda right here. I played that tank for a little while. It's really not a favorite tank of mine. It doesn't have a good gun, and it moves really slow, and it's like a horrible hybrid between medium and heavy and doesn't do any role really well. So the Churchill, on the other hand, in my experience, is a great tier 5 heavy tank. It is a premium tank, so you have to buy it. but it's definitely a strong mover on the field. The enemy team apparently trying to push along that southern flank and getting decimated. His team pushing along that outside of the south, which exposes his team to artillery, but apparently it has not been that detrimental considering it appears to be working. So they are flanking around the 6 o'clock position of that enemy team in the south, and right here he's moving to basically get a flank on that Matilda. To be honest, I would not be surprised if that Matilda died before he got there. Facing off against the Churchill, I think that Matilda has one option, and that option is to run if he wants to survive, because the rate of fire on the Churchill is just plain ridiculous. Now, if I were him, I would personally be going to the enemy's base and doing my best to eliminate their artillery. That would be my primary focus at this point, but he's also trying to be a good teammate. That's what he's been trying to do more or less this entire round. Right from the start, when he went to that northern flank and he was only one of 2 tanks heading there, is be a good teammate. So he's going to help out his Churchill here, which the Churchill doing surprisingly poorly against the Matilda. Either a poor Churchill player or just a really great Matilda player. I'm not really sure which to chalk it up to, but he can actually not afford to take a shot from that Matilda. I am almost certain he is going to die in one hit, and so he realizes that as well and just starts running enemy artillery, attempting to shoot and take him out, but completely, I shouldn't say completely, getting close, but for low tier artillery there is no splash, so that has very little bearing on the matter. And so right here he's requesting help, which, you know, his team has been less than helpful this entire match in terms of really providing him assistance. And here's what I was talking about. I would just go straight for enemy artillery, and that's what he's doing right now. He's taking the shot he has because he recognizes with his rapid rate of fire, by the time he aims, he'll be reloaded. Definitely something I would do too, so good call on that. And well played, getting yourself a 5th kill. Definitely doing very well for yourself, and that is one thing that, well, if you try to be a good team player and you go somewhere where your team has completely left open to the enemy, and by some miracle you manage to just completely take the enemy team to school, you often end up getting such awards as Top Gun or Confederate. You know, really those higher up medals that really end up showcasing your ability as a tank player. So while they are less than desirable circumstances and put you in quite a stressful situation, they are also the circumstances which always give you the chance to really shine as a tank player, really earn those medals, get those impressive games like this one right here. So being a good team player can often work in your benefit, but it can also really hurt you. Like I said, if the enemy team had decided to push a significant number of tank forces north, they could have easily rolled over that M3 Lee and this Panzer III-4 with very little difficulty. Now, this Matilda probably going to end up killing him here, but he is such a fast mover, it would not be surprising if the Matilda missed a few shots trying to take him out. Now, at this close of range, yeah, that's what I was thinking. That Matilda was almost guaranteed a hit, especially being stationary as he was, but the enemy team isn't quite dead yet. It is 2 tier 4 tank destroyers versus a tier 5 medium heavy hybrid like I was talking about earlier. The Matilda kind of does both roles. It's not really a fast moving tank at all. It is actually quite slow, but the saving grace here will probably be his team's artillery. Now, those tank destroyers just need to spot for their artillery players, and as long as that Matilda is in an open position, artillery can rain death upon them and take them out. If I were these tank destroyers right now, I'd be making a move for the enemy base. I wouldn't just be sitting there. I'd be making a joint move towards the enemy base. You move together because that way the Matilda has to choose to shoot at one of you rather than picking you off one at a time. As you funnel in, you both go simultaneously and he has to make a decision. So I'm not necessarily agreeing with the tactics of his team at this point, and you know, props to him. 6 kills, very impressive, especially for a Panzer III-4. Definitely not an impressive tank in my opinion. Now, I've never really had that much experience in it, but certainly I've never really seen them perform all too well either. So definitely a position of right here. Like I said, the tank destroyers should be moving up, spotting for artillery, rather than just sitting back. At the very least, they should be making a play for the enemy base. But here they go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You can tell on the minimap, both tank destroyers moving in a simultaneous, a simultaneous action towards the enemy base. Just, that joint effort of assaulting as one cohesive unit. Artillery spotting the Matilda and starting to rain shells upon him. So I'm not sure if the Matilda has spotted artillery or not. It is difficult to tell, especially at these distances. And artillery doing their best to just rain death upon him, end this match before the base capture occurs. But it is pretty much a guaranteed victory at this point. The Matilda, like I said, it is a slow medium tank. It is a slow tank in general for heavy or medium, so it will not make it back to the base in time, even if he ends up surviving, which it looks unlikely that he will. I think with these two artillery raining down upon him, he is probably going to end up dying before... Yep, there we go. The artillery managing to go TD mode and eliminate that Matilda. Definitely props to our guy here. I'm guessing Tankster is running premium, judging by the amount of experience. Yes, I know it's a ×2, but still, you take away that ×2, he still got over 1,200 experience for a tier 5 medium. Yes, 6 kills is impressive, but I don't know if it's that impressive to get that much experience on a standard account. So I'm going off on a limb here, saying his friend running premium. And, the credits definitely made a profit. Repairs not even close to the cost of credits. And I guarantee you the ammo was dirt cheap, especially for tier 5. So, props to him getting Top Gun, the only battle hero. Taking 7 hits, so not too bad. And only about slightly better than half of his shots hitting the target, which is understandable, especially for a tank like this on the move and for his frames per second. I'm sorry that you have to play with such a poor computer, my friend. But it is just the circumstances of your situation. Well, of course. I sound like an idiot now. Anyway, I'm tired. It is late. And if any of you are wondering why I'm not quite as out there as in the past couple replays, that's because I've been kind of doing these a little late at night. And I am in somewhat of a dormitory arrangement. So if I'm too loud, I disturb my neighbors. And I prefer not to get the people who live around me angry at me. They tend to know where I live. Anyway, I digress. If you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And yeah, if you got a replay like Beast here did, send it to spanglereplays@gmail.com. The email will be in the description. And as per usual, this is Spang signing off.